Hello and welcome everybody. I come to you with a glimmer of good news despite all the horrible things going on within the fighting game community. So as you may have already heard, Bandai Namco has pulled out of EVO 2020 online, as well as other companies and their games, effectively canceling EVO 2020. For those of you who don't know, it's because the CEO of EVO, Mr. Wizard, has been exposed for sexual assault against a minor. So it makes sense why these companies would pull out of EVO 2020. But we were expecting an announcement for fighters from Bandai Namco during this EVO 2020 online event. But the good news is Bandai Namco has announced their own digital event, Play Anime Live. It's going to be July 22nd at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with the next FighterZ DLC likely to come out in August, I think it's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to get an announcement for the next DLC during this Play Anime Live event. So now that we know that they're probably going to release an announcement for the next DLC, let's speculate on which character it's going to be. So if you've ever paid attention to the character selection screen in Dragon Ball FighterZ, you may have noticed that the screen is divided between antagonists and protagonists, with the antagonists on the right side of the screen and the protagonists on the left side of the screen. And the DLC releases tend to alternate back and forth between protagonist release, antagonists, protagonist, antagonist, back and forth like that. Not always, but they do tend to follow that pattern. And since UI Goku was the last DLC character, a protagonist, I think it's more likely that we're going to get an antagonist as the next DLC release. And if we assume that Master Roshi is the gold colored background, I think we're more likely to see the green or blue release at this event, assuming they keep those colors in the official DLC release. It's not likely that they would change the colors, but they have done it before. And if anyone's thinking it's going to be the blue, definitely, rather than the green, I just want to remind everybody in Season 2, the order of the color backgrounds when they said they were going to be released is not how they were released in actuality. So just keep that in mind. The order on the list of the background colors is not necessarily the order that they're going to release it. Because if we take a look at the Season 2 background colors, Blue Gogeta and Dragon Ball Super Broly were at near the top of the list, and when we know that they were released at the end of the season. So I think we're all pretty much in agreement that the blue, when it comes out, is going to end up being Omega Shenron, right? But what about the green, right? So in my video talking about the color backgrounds, I had Raditz as the more likely pick, but second, and a close second in actuality, is Pikkon. But I don't really have much to go off of in terms of which color they're going to release during this event. But I'm just going to go for it and say they're going to release the green color as part of this event. The only reason why I'm saying this is because I think if blue is going to be Omega Shenron and gold is going to be Master Roshi, I think they're going to want to end Season 3 on a very high note. Kind of like what they did in Season 2, releasing Dragon Ball Super Broly and Gogeta as the final two DLC characters. And with Omega Shenron and Master Roshi both being the two most popular characters in the Dragon Ball FighterZ community, would leave the season on a very high note. So if all of that is true, and we're going to see a green background release during this event, which of the two most likely characters that could fit that green background are we going to get? Raditz or Pikkon? Well, let's take a look at their respective pie charts, breaking down their percentages between want, don't want, ambivalence, and who. the who, basically, if you don't know who the character is. And we'll see which character might make the most financial sense for Bandai to release. So we can see the two pie charts side by side. Certainly the most important statistic is the want percentage. And we can see Raditz has 53.6% and Pikkon has 39.4%. But what is also important is the do not want percentage, and that percentage for Raditz is 20.8, and the percentage for do not want on Pikkon is 27.2. So that's a difference of 6.4 percentage points more for PyCon on Do Not Want, which is significant. For ambivalence, Raditz is at 24.9% and PyCon is at 26.8%. That's only a difference of 1.9 percentage points, which is basically a tie. For the Who part of the pie chart, Raditz had 0.7% Who and PyCon had 6.5% Who. So while the characters were virtually tied on ambivalence, when you combine the ambivalence of PyCon with the Who part of the pie chart, that's going to be a significantly higher percentage of people who may or may not buy the character. So Raditz is beating PyCon in every metric. There's a significantly higher percentage of people who want the character. There's less people who don't want the character, and there's also less people who may or may not buy the character. And something else that the want percentage can tell us, other than a greater percentage of people buying the DLC character, is also hype. Which character is going to generate the most hype for the game, right? With a 53.6%, a majority of your player base wanting this character in Raditz, you're going to generate far more hype for the game than if you were to put in PyCon. So this doesn't mean that, PyCon's definitely not going to be added to the game. That's not what I'm saying here. But if I'm going to make a prediction for which character they're going to release for the green spot, this is why I chose Raditz. And if all our other assumptions are true that I expressed in this video, then I think they're going to release the green character at this event. So my final prediction is going to be at this Play Anime Live event on July 22nd. They are going to reveal Raditz as the next DLC character. But I'm super excited to see who they actually reveal, and we'll just have to see what happens. But that's going to do it for this update video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment of anything that you have to say on the matter or what your opinion is. And as always, thanks for watching. I'm Wish for Roshi, and I'll see you in the next video.